I told the other guy.
Oh, yes, you're not Yolande.
He said, "Are you Yolande?" I said, "No."
Yes. All right, so welcome everybody to the Java Community Insider Secrets Talk. So first thing we have to do, can we close those doors in the back? None of this is the secrets talk.
Right. The secrets stay in the room.
Secrets stay in the room.
Close the door.
All right. Well,
He thought we were kidding. Are we kidding?
leave it open a little bit. I don't think they can actually hear us out there. Okay, and we have a special, we all need you to do a special disclosure agreement.
Oh, yes. The
DNDA.
Okay. DNDA.
Okay? So you guys all have to promise
disclosure
on your honor.
Agreement.
DevNexus disclosure agreement. Everything you see and hear in this talk that you have to share with other colleagues and friends. Okay, thank you guys. All right, so my name's Stephen Chen.
Yes.
This is Heather VanCura, who runs the JCP.
I do.
Yes. And I'm the Java Community Manager. Yeah, the JCP is awesome. We'll find out what the JCP is in a sec for people who don't like acronyms.
That's actually the first secret, is that I don't make it run. The community makes it run. That's the first secret.
That is a good secret, because I didn't know that either.
No? I only tell the secrets here.
Okay, so we're learning secrets. And just to give you an idea how big the Java community is, there are actually 314 different Java user groups. One of them, does anyone know the Java user group who runs devnexus? Yes, the Atlanta jug. And there's 9 million Java developers, so most of the people I talked into the audience were Java developers. If you haven't tried Java, it's this, relatively new language. It's only been around for 20 years.
Still number one.
Still number one in the TOB index, so it's pretty good. 150 Java champions. I think we have some Java champions in the audience here.
Do we?
Let's see.
I'm not sure. Do I see any?
Oh, this guy, the guy from Australia.
Oh,
How are you doing? How are you doing?
He's our Aussie champ.
Good. So, Simon, can you tell everybody what a Java champion is? What does it mean to be a Java champion? And stand next to me so you're picked up by my mics. We're like pair speaking here.
So a Java champion is someone who directly advocates for Java in the community, or and that could be through user groups, through education, through open source contributions and stuff like that. It's effectively going the extra mile to help Java grow.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Simon. Give Simon a round of applause.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, you did good. I didn't actually know the answer. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah, we didn't even tell him we were going to ask.
So Simon also runs the virtual Java user group, the VJug. So, attending the Atlanta Jug meetings and the conferences like this is great. But from the comfort of your home or work, you can actually watch the virtual Jug meetings online with Simon. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Java Champion program and how you too can become a Java champion. And lastly...
Last but not least.
So what's the JCP, Heather? And why are 50 user groups contributing to it?
Well, the JCP is the Java community process. So that is where Java technology is defined. Everything in the JavaX namespace is defined through the JCP. So it's a community collaborative process where Java is developed. It's not developed by a vendor, it's developed with the community, for the community in the JCP. And we can have companies join the JCP. We can have individual developers, Java developers are members of the JCP, or Java user groups can join the JCP. So right now we have about 50 Java user groups in the JCP. I don't think the Atlanta Jug is in the JCP.
Oh, we get to talk to Vince about that. Maybe fix that.
Yeah, and a VJug too. Yeah, they need to join, but yeah.
So you too can be a member of the Java community process. And we're going to talk about why you might want to do this for some of these reasons. Who likes food? Yes. Okay. And how have you been well fed here at the devnexus? Okay. So.
Well, there's plenty of food.
Well, there's plenty of food. Okay. So this was Java Zone in Sweden.
24-hour food.
Or actually, Norway, Oslo, Norway. And they basically serve food around the clock. So you could get, this stand was serving, I think, sushi. There was another stand serving ice cream and gourmet coffee.
So you can just go to conferences and then you never have to buy food.
Yeah, that's the goal in life. You just,
Yeah.
you know, sit in airplanes, hang out at conferences, and then eat their food. You're very good at eating conference food, right? Right, Simon. What's your favorite conference food by now?
That's what I do.
Mexican.
Mexican's good.
Mexican
Yeah,
conference
so,
food.
well, yeah.
So also, speaker dinners are another good way to get free food. So we're gonna talk a little bit about how you can break into being a speaker. Maybe hang out with some geeks like this. This was a bar out at JavaZone as well, where they had the speakers having a fairly nice dinner. You might recognize some guys in the picture here.
Yeah, there's a few famous people there. Yeah.
Maybe. Do
Well,
you actually
famous in the Java community, right? So that
Well,
this is my story, right? of
geek
conferences.
famous?
You
Okay, go for it.
Geek famous story. Okay, so once you start going to the Java conferences and are a member of the community, you travel around the world and you start to know people at every conference you go to. So at one point I took a friend of mine, just a regular friend who doesn't have anything to do with technology, to a conference with me in a foreign country. I think, where was I? I was in Poland, I think. It was like some random place, like Eastern Europe. And I walked into the speaker dinner, and suddenly there were about 10 people that swarmed me, and were like, Heather, we're so glad you're here. I mean, so good to see you. And she was in complete awe. She was like, oh my gosh, you're totally famous. I had no idea you were famous. You're a total rock star. And so now every time I see her, she tells everyone who's around her that I'm a rock star, and I'm completely famous.
And geeks? You're geek famous.
And that's what I said. I said, no, I'm not. I kind of tried to tell her that, but now I just live with it. But it's like, I'm geek famous. So you can be geek famous too.
All right, so here are some ways you can actually break into speaking really easily. So one
This
of
is
them,
how you can be famous.
yeah, one of them is doing kids workshops. So anybody have kids, youngums in the audience? Okay, I've got two, quite a big gap.
3.
You got 3, and it's actually really easy, and it's a nice way of teaching your own kids programming, but also bringing a wider set of young geeks into programming. And also a great way to get girls involved in programming as well, because when you hit kids at a young age, you get a much better ratio between boys and girls, and you're setting a better role model and example for them when they go to school and they have to choose occupations and careers later in life. They can picture themselves actually doing some of the stuff you do for a living.
That's true, and most of these conferences, I've helped Stephen with a few of these workshops, and almost half of the attendees are girls, most of the time, in different cities that we've done it in. And right about the age of 10 is a good age to catch the girls before they decide that they're not going to be interested in computer programming. So it's also a good way to kind of get used to speaking in front of people. Some people like to do that, teach kids first before you go present at conferences. So helping with local kids coding events is kind of a good first entry point for speaking.
Okay, so here's a second way that's really easy to become a speaker is doing Ignite talks. So we have this at JavaOne. There's a bunch of other conferences which also have Ignite sessions. And basically the idea is you give a 5-minute presentation on your topic of choice. It doesn't even have to be super technical. Like your boss, Patrick Curran,
Yes.
he actually did an Ignite talk on African music. And it was actually the best talk I've ever seen him give.
I missed that talk. I don't know how.
But he was really passionate about it. He
Yes.
had all these different references. He played music during the presentation, and
That's amazing.
it's easy. 5 minutes, 20 slides. The slides auto advance. You talk about something you're passionate about. I'm forgetting his name. Kevin's son, Kevin Nilsson, who's one of the Jug leaders in the Bay Area. His son gave an Ignite talk at JavaOne. So if Kevin's son can do it, you guys could probably manage 5 minutes.
Tell him what this talk was.
Oh yeah, this guy, who you'll see at the keynote tomorrow, Stuart Marks.
This is an inside joke. This is beyond just a secret. It's an inside joke too.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He basically gave a talk where, for 5 minutes, the only word he said was Hodor. Hodor.
Hodor. Hodor.
And actually, he
For
would ask for
5
questions. Hodor? And the audience would respond, Hodor, 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 Hodor. So probably the best part of this slide, and if you bump into Stuart, ask him for the picture, because I know it's on his phone. He showed it at the party last night. He put on his laptop all stickers of different companies, like the company logos, and they're all, rather than the company name, it says Hodor.
Yeah.
For all the different company logos. So he's a funny guy. You'll have a great time with the keynote with him tomorrow. He did an Ignite talk at JavaOne.
So all you have to do is, with Stuart is walk up to him and say Hodor, and he'll just start laughing and think you're hilarious.
You'll be immediate friends with Stuart if you say Hodor. And then here is Michael Hopper, and he has been helping us by playing with demos in the Java Hub. So this is his 3D printer, the Ultimaker. He 3D printed this little box here, which is a little automated robot with a Raspberry Pi inside of it controlling the servos. And so if you have like a cool technology gadget, something you built with Java, come chat with me and Heather, and you could also be showing off your device at different Java conferences around the world. So those are all.
So yeah, so like most conferences, there's like a hub, like a general hub area. So that's a good place to hang out and meet different community members and play with cool toys. And you can bring your own cool toys. So like we're here this week for DevNexus. We're up at the stage. Did anybody see us up there? Did you notice there was a stage? Yeah. So come help us there.
All right, and then this is your favorite one.
I love it.
I'll let you talk about this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I get to talk. Okay. All right. So this is the other insider secret. A great place to meet all the experts who are working on Java technology is Hacker Garden. So lots of conferences now we do these Hacker Gardens, which is an informal space where you can come and work on open source projects. So we often will have these at JavaOne, always now. It's a staple. It's become a staple of a lot of conferences. So just throughout the whole conference, we're there working on different open source projects, JSRs. I had some IoT stuff at JavaOne. We had a sewing machine and some sensors and LED lights, and just come chat, talk with your friends, work on open source projects. This was the JavaOne.
Yeah, so this one looks like it was
We were working on the
JavaOne.
Now robot. This was 2 years ago.
San Francisco. This guy's Bruno Souza, so he came from Brazil.
He wears a cape. That's how you know.
Marcus Eisel gave a workshop. Oh, it was a workshop or session? Maybe it was a session.
Yeah.
Earlier today, so he was there as well. So it's also a good chance to network with different people. And part of becoming a speaker and then doing this stuff is if you build a network with folks who are already speakers, it's a great way to kind of bootstrap what you're doing.
Right, because you can
be a co-speaker.
Yeah, co-speaker. But wait, I wasn't finished.
Sorry.
The Hacker Garden. So I think I met one guy, brand new guy out of college. He came to a Hacker Garden in Germany. The next one came to in Java1, and then he had met all of the JSR spec leads that he had been following, and was so amazed that the Java community was actually a place where you can come and meet people and get to know the people so easily. He was amazed. So it just makes the technology a little bit more accessible and give you a broader sense of community with the technologies that you're developing.
Okay, and then once you meet those folks, being a co-speaker is another great way to break into speaking. So what I try to do in a lot of my talks is I co-speak with people and I help them with. Actually, I think it's the opposite here. Heather's the famous one, as we found out.
The famous one.
And she invited me to speak, so I'm very honored to be able to co-speak with you, Heather.
Yeah. You should be honored.
And I usually try to co-speak with different people on talks because a lot of people have great technical content. They have a lot of knowledge to share, but they might not have the experience or be comfortable getting up on stage for a full session and doing a 45-minute presentation. So this is a great way to get started out with speaking, or even find some folks from your company who you're friends with and who are comfortable, and then you can co-speak with them in a talk as well. So that's another good way to kick it off. And specifically for JavaOne, we have a user group forum. So if you're a user group member, if you're part of the Atlanta Jug or different user groups, you can come to this, and you can also speak on different user group sessions as well. So those are some examples of different ways, which are kind of low barrier ways of getting involved with speaking.
Yeah.
And the last one here is a birds of a feather session. So usually conferences have like evening talks or smaller talks where you can talk to a smaller group of people. This is a very large birds of feather session. Usually birds of feather sessions are like about 20 people, 10 to 20 people. And that's also an easy way to start becoming a speaker. So my first speaking engagement at JavaOne was actually a birds of feather session on Piccolo 2D, which is a 2D graphics framework for Java back in the Swing days. So this was, I can't remember, like maybe 8 years ago or something. And I gave a talk on Piccolo 2D, and there were only like 20 people in the room, so I was worried that maybe it wasn't interesting. But all 20 of those people like really cared. You know, they were very, very passionate about the framework. They actually wanted to be there and have conversations. And I think that's one of the advantages of Birds of Feather sessions is it gets you comfortable speaking, but at the same time you're with people who are kind of your peers and are extremely excited about what you're talking about.
Right, so you don't even really have to have a planned presentation. You have a topic, people who are similar, have that similar interest come to the Birds of a Feather session, and then you can gather the topics that you want to talk about together. That's often what I do in a Birds of a Feather is ask what questions people have and kind of guide the conversation. So it's a little bit more informal and relaxed versus, you know, a prepared presentation, very structured environment.
Okay, and then also earlier we were talking about interviews. So Heather and I do these interviews on the stages at different places. This was JavaLand in Germany. So we did, during the evening party, we did a big Java 8 launch party on TV. So we were hanging out here, having beers, and laughing at the guys in the suits who were officially promoting the release. Actually, who's this guy there?
Oh, that was the official Oracle launch. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember some good heckling there, Simon?
Well, that was the other food that we left out of the pictures. Did you leave out the beer?
The beer? No, we have a good beer.
Looks like a lot of beer you had. I was not at that conference.
This was Germany. There's a standard for beer drinking in Germany, and we were below the standard. The audience members
like
were
2 or 3 glasses per person. So you're definitely below the standard.
Which is not nearly enough. Okay, so how do you get there? So part of the way of kind of breaking into to this is also social media, and we're all really lazy. I'm lazy. I'm super lazy about this. Who else is lazy in this room? Okay.
Well, what do you consider lazy?
Lazy as in I'm not going to do something that doesn't give me results.
Okay, I'm definitely lazy.
Yeah, we're all lazy. So, social media for the lazy. How to optimize and get lots of Twitter followers, get lots of social media traffic without actually killing yourself. So, there's actually lots of examples of, you hear lots of examples of different ways which you can attract attention. And these are some tweets which kind of went viral. And you can get an idea why. So,
Java viral tweets.
Yeah, cakes. If you ever see a cake, like a birthday cake, something like a geek cake, take a picture of it, put it on Twitter. It'll go viral immediately.
You get 100 retweets. How many were on this cake? 693.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Tweets.
600 or something.
Developers love cake. That's lesson number 1.
So Mark did a little clever tweet for the Java 20th anniversary where he did like the old Java logo and then a newer Java logo and the latest Java logo to kind of show progression. But this also was extremely popular. Puppies.
Puppies and kittens are
pretty much. But you have to have something cute. I think I saw a tweet like yesterday or something, and it was like a big kitten and a small kitten, and it was like, you know, uppercase, lowercase.
Right, or if there's something like that the animal's saying.
Yeah, you have to do something cute with the animals.
You have to have a geeky saying there.
And, you know, anything for anniversaries. So, you know, putting up things which are related to like big events. Announcements, so you can always retweet announcements. And this is the Hodor laptop from Stuart.
Developers love stickers.
So yeah, walk up to Stuart, find Stuart after the keynote, and talk about Hodor, and then he'll be your new best friend.
Well, then the other thing that was not on there that's really popular with my tweets is Duke. Anything with Duke.
Duke.
Does anybody know who Duke is?
Duke.
Nobody knows who Duke is.
We have to have a picture. Oh, can you hold your laptop up for the audience? Yeah, you have Duke on your laptop. So that guy in the center there with the apple, that's Duke. And he is the official Java mascot. That is an awesome sticker.
That's actually yours.
He cut it, except he cut off the night hacking part.
That is still an awesome sticker, even though you mangled it. And anything Duke related is really
Duke is
really
fabulous.
Good. Okay, and next trick is follow people smarter than you. So
that's key.
Yeah. So you want to follow people like this, and then see what they're tweeting, what's trending, and then that way you know which things you should promote to more quickly bring up your Twitter followers. So you know all these people are crazy people who tweet a whole lot, And then you also want to follow and retweet people who are on Twitter all day. People who
You
just...
don't have to be there all day.
How many
'cause they're
tweets have you
always
done
there.
since the beginning of the session, Simon? All right, so he's already done
tweeted
2
twice
tweets.
in 20 minutes. Okay, so every 10 minutes he's tweeting.
So if you're following Simon and you're retweeting Simon, you're going to get lots of followers because he's doing all the hard work for you. You don't even need to think about anything. He's sitting right here. Follow him. Marcus Eisel is another great one. He's constantly on Twitter. He's also around the conference.
And he doesn't sleep.
No.
He just runs on coffee.
Exactly.
Is that the license plate, Java or something? What does it say?
Yeah, it says, I don't know. It's a cute little Java joke.
Yeah.
Geeks love Java jokes. Okay, and then also the Java Twitter handle, which Yolan and I run, but mostly it's Yolan who does all the tweets on the Java Twitter handle. I occasionally hijack it and put something on there, but it's mostly Yolan. So she spends easily like 2 to 4 hours a day on Twitter, reading tweets, retweeting, posting new content. So follow people like that, and then you can just retweet them, quote their tweets, and then bring up your Twitter stats. And what you'll find is when you follow and you mention and you tweet these folks, they're highly likely to follow you back and engage you on Twitter. And that's how people see the conversations with you and them, and then they start following you.
Right, so you respond to people, retweet people, and then also you can create multiple accounts and then retweet yourself.
So here's some other examples.
Well, like then you have the multiple personalities, right? Like you're night hacking Java, JavaOne, I'm JCP, and then I have my personal.
Well, we have personality disorder from being on Twitter too much.
Right, we have our different personas.
Try to have one Twitter account. That's my advice. Too many Twitter accounts will kill you. So here we have Java retweeting virtual jug.
Classic mistake.
Classic mistake. Oh, what did we do wrong, Simon?
It's pretty fast me.
All right, let me get closer to you so everyone can hear you. Stand up.
Classic Twitter mistake then. So you've got Java, and the first thing it's done is @virtualjug, which means only people who follow both Java and the virtual jug will ever see that tweet. Mm-hmm. So that's why people dot then @virtualjug, because everyone then that follows Java will see that tweet.
Yeah, so if you're going to do a tweet starting with a Twitter handle, put a dot first.
Yeah, this one right here. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's okay. Nobody's perfect. That's all right. Thanks for sharing.
So did everyone understand what Simon was trying to say? The point Simon was trying to make? Yeah. So whenever you do this in Twitter lands, that's like a conversation between two people, and you only see it if you actually follow both people.
And when people do tweet to you, respond. That's the other thing. As you were saying, engage with your followers and have a conversation with them. Check your notifications and respond back. Thank people for retweets, that kind of stuff.
All right, so something else really good is always use photos in Twitter. So photos and videos are great for getting viral content. People love pictures. It's easy to see them. It's easy to retweet them because you don't have to follow links or you don't have to go too deep into it. You just see the message immediately. And this is like a matrix. We did a Java land. This is JavaOne Brazil. Some guy's holding up a So Java flag. jcrete.
People love flags, too.
Duke, anything with Duke is cool. And if you can somehow photobomb Gosling and get in a photo with the creator of Java, that's always good for getting lots of retweets. So here's George photobombing Gosling. I'm sure Gosling's like, who's this guy in the picture of me? Everyone knows James Gosling, right? Does everyone know George Saab? No.
Yeah. Okay.
So George Saab actually is the VP at Oracle in charge of Java. And he should be in more pictures with James, because then you would all know him.
How to be famous, hang out with famous people.
Yeah, okay. And then
but real famous, not like...
Not geek famous.
Not my kind of famous.
Yeah, not geek famous. Okay, so here's more examples of pictures. So another really cool trick is the multi-picture thing. So if you
4 pictures.
If you do 4 or 3 pictures or even 2 pictures, it'll arrange them in a little group, and people love the multi-picture thing. It's really easy, and you can get different views of the same thing, and then it drops it together in a nice format within Twitter. So this is the Java Zone speaker dinner. Cakes are always awesome. a geek bike ride, and then more cake. So those are the sort of things which if you take pictures of things around the venue, around the conference, you tweet them out, you put at devnexus, the guys running the devnexus Twitter handle see you mention them, they see the picture, they retweet it, and then everybody following the devnexus Twitter handle suddenly sees you and starts following you. Okay, so that's social media. Any other tips, Simon, that you have besides the ones which we shared? Because you are in this room the actual resident expert in social media. We all bow to your to your superior knowledge from being on Twitter constantly. No, okay. So Simon gives it a thumbs up. At least you should have a good start.
Well, and that, I guess it brings up a good point, is we did just cover Twitter, but I would say by far that's the most popular social network for Java developers is Twitter. So if you want to, invest time in only one medium, it would be Twitter. That would be the recommended one. But you try to mix it up and see where your followers are as far as other social networks like Facebook.
Facebook's okay,
Yeah.
especially Brazilians love Facebook for some reason.
Right, it does vary by country. The African people love Facebook too.
Yeah.
And there's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Tumblr,
And then if you go to China, it's a whole other story because they block
They have their
all
own,
the cool
they have their
social
own
media
Twitter.
outlets.
They have their own Twitter.
Yeah, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, next thing, getting free stuff. How do you get free stuff? So, if you want to get free stuff, the way to do it is start a Java user group. Basically, once you have a jug, people are going to drop off and give you free stuff in your garage constantly. Publishers, any of the vendors out here, when they're done with the show, if you're a Java user group, you just walk up and say, what do you have left over? And then you take all their shirts away. Like, people love giving free stuff to Java user groups. And it's actually
Especially
really,
at the end of a conference.
Yeah,
Because they don't want to take it home with them.
it's actually really easy to start a Java user group. It's 3 steps. So first, you register your jug. The place for the Java user groups is the community site, community/Java. But you can just Google for this and then find the site for the jug. Step 2, you invite a couple of your friends over. This is more than a couple. This is actually TryJug in North Carolina. But you can do it in your company. Like I spoke at the new Stockholm VM Lang user group, and it was only 5 guys at their company. They started a new jug, they're pulling in new members, and they're growing their membership. But it was a really nice, engaging session, and those guys were all really dedicated. So you can do it at your workplace with some of your coworkers, some of your close friends, and start growing your Java user group membership. And then profit, get free stuff, because you're now an official jug. So it's really easy. So anyone live slightly outside of Atlanta, maybe Alpharetta, or, yeah, where do you live?
New York.
New York, that's slightly
outside of
out.
Atlanta.
How about you?
Marietta.
Marietta?
Marita?
Marietta.
Marietta.
Where's that?
North.
North?
Yeah.
Is there a Marita jug? No, see, now you could start it. You could be the Marita jug. How about you?
Lowburn.
Lowburn. Lowburn. And is there a Lowburn jug yet? Yeah, I don't think so. So you have an opportunity to start a Lowburn jug. And last but not least, Sandy Springs. Is that?
South? North.
Oh, nice. And I haven't heard of a Sandy Springs jug, but maybe you could start it.
You can also start a J Duchess group.
Oh, yes, J Duchess group. So why don't you talk about that a little
J
bit?
Duchess is it's a user group for women that Java, ladies who Java.
Ladies who Java. And I know they have them in France. I just interviewed one of the
Yes.
French J Duchess founders.
Netherlands, France.
Sweden.
Yeah.
I think there was one in the Bay Area, San Francisco, but I think they're not that
a little
active. Are they reviving now?
Bit. Well, I'm getting
You're
notices.
helping.
I'm a member.
You're-
We're starting one in Morocco and India. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to find out more about the J Duchesses, then chat with Heather.
Yes.
And that's a great program to start. I don't think there's an Atlanta J Duchess group
No.
here yet.
No.
That would be a good one.
Yep.
Okay, but if you're a JUG or a J Duchess organization, you're going to get lots of free stuff. My wife actually was quite upset because our garage got filled up with free stuff. And it took us like a year to finally give it all away at the different user groups and events which we were running. I run the Silicon Valley JavaFX user group, so it's a slightly specialty group for JavaFX in the Bay Area. Okay, and then you can also, once you've done this, once you're a speaker and you're maybe like a user group leader, and you're involved in the community, then you can actually become a Java champion like Simon. So Simon, do you know how to become a Java champion? Yes. And it's really easy.
It's not that easy.
No, it actually is really easy. So, let's go through this. Criteria 1.
Simon's like, whoa.
If Simon can't get in. Criteria 1, leadership. So there's 5 criteria for being a Java champion. Leadership. So if you've started a Jug or a JDuchess group, check, you're done. Okay, so 1 off. 2, technical luminary. So you could either Hodor with this guy,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
He's not really being a luminary there, but he definitely is a luminary.
Yeah, he is a luminary. So you could be a speaker, or you could join the JCP.
That too.
And how much does it cost to join the JCP, Heather?
It's absolutely free.
It's free. Okay, so you have two ways to become a technical luminary. So we got 2 criteria down. 3, independent. Now this is actually really easy because most of you, I assume, who works for Oracle here? Okay,
Just me.
just you.
And you.
So you guys all qualify for being independent. Sometimes you make a mistake in life, and then you end up on the alumnus list.
Like Steven.
But you have to kind of live with your mistakes. I used to be a Java champion, but now, oops.
Now you're an Oracle employee.
All right, so we got 3 out of 5. Number 4, education. So if you're doing, kids events or kids workshops, DevOps for Kids is a great one. You have this one covered. If you're doing something for like nonprofits or to kind of, make the world a better place, you also have this covered. So this is a fairly easy one as well. And then the 5th one is influential. And if you'd like, you can submit an article for the Java community platform. So we have the Java community platform where we post a lot of different content. And we actually pay for people to write articles on different technical topics. This is a nice way to spread influence with the community by writing an article that other people can read on the community space. So anyone in the room here could easily become a Java champion just like Simon. Apparently, if he can do it, you can too.
He says if he can do it, anyone can.
Yeah, he can. We have a second influential, Java Magazine as well, which is another great publication. So you can either do Community Space, which is what Yolanda and I run, or the Java Magazine, which Andrew Binstock runs. Both of those are paid articles, so you get paid to do a little bit of technical writing, and then you get to share your influence with the community. And the last step is ask a Java champion to nominate you to be a Java champion. So it's an independent program. Champions are nominated by other champions. And, maybe a Java champion. Maybe there's even a Java champion sitting, like, in front of you in the session, perhaps. Maybe you're going to watch a keynote with a Java champion and you ask him a question. Hodor?
Hodor.
And then, go
Because
ahead.
there aren't any Java champions here from Atlanta in this area, right?
No, I think there are.
Are there?
Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. There are some Java champions here.
Well, there should be, is my point.
Yeah.
They should get nominated.
Okay, maybe we need more Java champions in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
I don't know if Pratik's a Java champion. Pratik's one of the organizers. I think
Ours?
Vince is a Jug leader, not a Java champion. I'm sure there's some Java champions here. Okay, and last one, becoming a JavaOne Rock Star. So after you've done all this, and you want to get your Rock Star status at JavaOne, like, you're a JavaOne Rock Star, right, Simon? Yeah, Simon is. How do you do that? So, tip 1, funny co-presenters. Pick somebody funny to co-present, like this guy. So this is Kevin Nilsson, who I was mentioning earlier, and his son is the one who did the Ignite talk. So always present with somebody funnier or better looking than you.
I'm both, so.
Yes, you
You're
are.
covered, Steven.
Thank you. Number 2, entertainment is greater than content. So most of you probably have really good technical content because you program, you actually write real code, you have real experiences to share. And at a conference, the technical content is rarely the issue with presentations. Well, maybe this one has that issue, but Most presentations, it's not an issue. But entertainment is actually a much bigger issue. So this is a slide from one of the presentations I gave at JavaOne 2015, I think, 2014 maybe. And it was on agile development, and the joke here was I was the one left holding the banana when I became a manager. And then here's another one. Basically anything you do with Legos and Star Wars is going to be a winner. Second tip is know the system. So you have to know how you're being rated by the conference. And different conferences have different techniques. They might have like a mobile survey. They might have voting stations like this. So we used these at JavaOne last year where you could physically vote on your sessions.
Buttons.
And as a presenter, the way to get invited back is to have a good session where folks like it and they'll actually give you a good rating in the talk. And actually, you shouldn't be shy about even asking people to give you a rating. I mean, you don't want to ask them to give you a good rating. But if more people respond to the survey, you typically have a higher chance of getting good feedback. Whereas if you don't mention it to folks and people leave the session, it's a highly likely people who are upset are going to give you a bad rating, and people who like the talk or were neutral are simply not going to give you a rating. So know the system, ask folks to give you a rating if it's possible. And then you could be a JavaOne Rock Star or, well-known presenter like that guy.
Like Simon.
Like Simon. Okay, so
Or
after...
Steven, you're a rock star presenter.
No. I'm just okay. Okay, so some places you might end up if you accomplish all of this. So you could end up here in Sao Paulo on a geek bike ride. So we actually have an annual JavaOne Brazil event. It's happening in May again this year. And the Brazilian Java community organizes a geek bike ride. They print T-shirts. Anybody who's in Sao Paulo is welcome to join, or anybody attending the conference, or even not attending the conference. So that's lots of fun. Maybe the same thing in San Francisco.
Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. So come out to JavaOne San Francisco for the geek bike ride. Maybe snorkeling with this guy, Mr. Gosling in the Pacific. So he actually has, he's left Oracle and he's now working for Liquid Robotics and building these cute little robotic water drones, which are self-propelled robots that go out and take measurements in the Pacific. So he's really cool. I went out and I did some interviews with him on site in Hawaii, where they actually launched the ships. And here you can see James actually looking at the underside of the boat, making sure that his new algorithm he was trying to figure out how to untwist the propeller below, because sometimes the cable gets spun around by the currents. So they invented a new algorithm for the ship, so it would untwist the cables. And there's more James in his hat. Maybe motorcycling around Europe. So this guy's Tony Apple. He's a consultant / Java champion in Germany, and I was hanging out with him and riding around Europe to do a Java user group tour. And this is something we fund Java champions like Simon to do. Did you know we fund Java champions to do stuff like this, Simon? Why haven't you asked us for money to do this yet? Okay. Yeah, family issues. Family issues. His wife doesn't want him traveling too much. And this is going along the coast of Santander, which is really, really nice. There's a really nice Java user group in Santander as well. Maybe stand-ups in the Mediterranean.
Working.
Working. This is work. Yeah.
This could be work for you.
So actually, all these guys were actually having debates on big data technology off the coast of Crete. So the basic format of JCrete, it's an unconference. The mornings are technical sessions, so you have like real technical debate and content, kind of like what you guys are doing here, but it's an unconference session, so you propose your own sessions, and the attendees lead the sessions, which is nice. And then the afternoons, there were excursions where you went out to different famous beaches or the oldest olive tree or different things, and got to have interactions and technical discussions in a more casual setting. This conference is actually free to attend. Well, mostly free to attend. It's very low cost. Anyone can sign up, but I think this year they were oversold by 500% on their ticket sales. So slightly exclusive just by the limited number of spaces. and more geeks in trunks. Geeks. Okay, and maybe you'll end up rafting in the tundra. This was the JavaZone speaker event after the JavaZone conference in Oslo, Norway. So here's Arun Gupta, some other famous folks in the boat, cruising around in the northernmost city, the second northernmost city in the world, Svalbard. And then here's more folks and geeks off the shore, and petting of the dogs, the Arctic dogs, which is lots of fun. This is Raphael Winterhalter, who wrote Byte Buddy, which is a great open source framework for JVM bytecode manipulation. More little cute doggies. Oh, this guy's getting run over by the cute little doggies. So, if this guy can do it, this is Abdel Rahmani, Santa Cruz jug leader, and he was out at JavaZone in Svalbard with us on the speaker event. He basically, Abdel, I'm kind of picking on him. Little jug leader, started speaking. He actually started co-speaking with Kevin, who I mentioned earlier. He gradually worked his way up to be able to speak by himself, and he got invited by the JavaZone conference. They basically paid his way to come out to Oslo, Norway, and give a speech out there, and then brought him in for the post-event speaker excurvature as well. So, if Abdel can do it, you guys can do it too, because he's just a normal guy. We're all just normal guys trying to do technology.
Girls.
Normal girls trying to do technology. And it's something where you can take your passion, what you're passionate about, technology, development, innovation, and turn it into something a little bit more fun and engaging. So I hope you guys enjoyed the talk. And what we'd like to do is we'd like to have some conversations with you guys for the remaining time about what you're doing. So let's...
We have a few minutes, maybe one.
1 minute.
1 minute left.
Okay, we're actually, oh wow, we really hit the time
What
well.
secrets do we not give? I mean, you can come to the stage and ask for more.
Okay, so let's take one question, and then we'll let you guys go, and then come up to the stage afterwards if you want to chat with us more. So who has a good question for us from something we talked about earlier?
Okay.
All right, so go ahead.
What I'm thinking is, what's the motivation, right, to put the investment, yes, primarily time, to do it?
Okay, so the question is what the motivation is to kind of invest your time in doing stuff like this. And I think probably the easiest one is the activities like this, like speaking, having stuff like Java Champion or JavaOne Rock Star on your resume, make it much, much easier for you to get in the companies and get kind of, some career progression on the side, or even transition from being an employee to maybe an independent contractor. So I think it does a lot to improve your career and give you more options, while at the same time you're doing it for a good cause, right? You're engaging the community, you're teaching other people, and most employers are actually quite willing to support you to do things like this.
Yeah, I think it enables a lot of freedom for developers, just in terms of choices. You get approached for more job offers, book offers. Often I hear of people starting their own company, like you talked about, getting a higher fee. Same thing if you're on a JSR expert group. People look at you as an expert and think that you would deserve a higher fee, higher salary, be more easily promoted, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so excellent question. Thank you guys all for attending the talk, and please come up if you want to ask us additional questions.
Thank you.